So I have a video here. This is from, I think his name is Mark Penn. He's a former Bill Clinton pollster. And he went on Fox News. He was asked, the very simple question like, hey, why do you think the public has turned on Joe Biden? He used to have a high approval rating. He doesn't really have a high approval rating anymore. Now it's like 49% of people say he doesn't care about average Americans like me. 48% think he does care, but 49% say he doesn't. So there's a question that they float on Fox News. Mark Penn gives an answer. Now, let's watch it. When we come back, I'm going to explain to you why this is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Take a look.
About half of voters apparently don't think the president cares about the average American. That's a record high, but what would explain that? The numbers, folks, are with us now. Mark Penn, former Clinton pollster and advisor, and Kellyanne Conway, former Trump campaign manager. And good morning to both of you. Wow. Okay, Mark, you dive into these numbers. You try and see patterns and try and figure it out. How would you explain that number about Americans thinking that the president doesn't care about them?
Well, I think the president has lost one of his key attributes, which was always likability. Whether people favored his policies or not, he did have this image of being a kind of a likable Uncle Joe, ice cream Joe, kind of friendly. And I think he's lost that. I think it's been replaced by a kind of a sterner, angrier figure who can now generate numbers that like this.
Wow. I think there's like a contractual requirement that anybody who goes on these networks has to be objectively wrong. I cannot put into words for you guys just how completely and utterly made up what you just heard is. Just made up. He just made it up. He used to be Ice Cream Joe, and now he's not Ice Cream Joe. What? He was likable, and now people are like, gosh golly, maybe he's not all that likable. You took time out of your day to go on TV to give that's your grand theory as to why Joe Biden has gone down in the polls? That's your theory. Here's one based on evidence. So let's throw up the next graphic here. Take a look at this poll. A majority of voters support the provisions of the Build Back Better plan. Long-term investments in care, 79%. Modernizing K-12 school buildings, 73%. Electricity grid modernization, 74%. Medicare drug price negotiations. That's to lower prescription drug prices, 73% support. Lowering the Medicare age, 59%. Universal pre-K, 59%. Tuition-free community college, 58%. Creating a CCC, 58%. Pathway to citizenship, 56%. Extending child tax benefits, 50%, but it's still plus 9. These are just some of the provisions of Build Back Better. The legislation that was touted for a while, they screamed about it through a megaphone on the rooftops. This is going to pass. We got a strategy to get it passed. We're going to get it done. We're going to pair it together with the traditional infrastructure bill. We're going to put that with Build Back Better. You're not going to get the traditional one unless you pass Build Back Better as well. Then they folded to Manchin and Sinema and the corporate Democrats who wanted to pass the traditional infrastructure bill, which is great for corporate America, but they didn't want to pass Build Back Better because Build Back Better helps working people. It's not a donor-focused bill. It is a people-focused bill. Now, if you go out there for months and you're touting the legislation that gives people elder care, it gives people the universal pre-K, it gives people lower prescription drug prices, it expands Medicare, it raises taxes on the wealthy, which is another thing that polls at 70%, depending on, which specific tax on the wealthy you talk about. You're touting this bill, which does a plethora of amazing things, even just extending the child tax benefits, an extra $300 or $400 for families. You tout all these things. Here's what we're going to do. We're coming to help you. You're struggling. There's a pandemic. The economy's hurting for regular people, doing great for corporations. The billionaires made trillions of dollars over the course of the pandemic while you guys stagnated. Inflation is eating all your stuff up, eating your wages up. We're coming to help. The cavalry is here. We're going to run on those things. We're going to talk about the bill. We're fighting for it. And then, poof, it goes up in smoke, and you run away with your tail between your legs, and you don't even have any accountability. Nobody said, hey, here's why it failed, and here's what we're going to do to make it better. Or here's my plan to get certain parts of the bill through moving forward. Propose standalone bills, for example. Or here, I can do an executive order on this particular piece of the bill. I could eliminate student loan debt through executive order. I could legalize marijuana through executive order. You made some decent policy proposals and some promises. You didn't deliver on them, so of course your numbers are going to go, of course they're going to go down. Why wouldn't they go down? If you tell your friend, I'm going to give you $200, and then you don't give them $200, and then like you ghost your friend and run away every time you see him, what do you think's going to happen? Hey, that guy's kind of sketchy. Oh, it turns out that guy is sort of full of shit. Of course that's what's going to happen. Again, I know I'm a broken record, guys, but I'm a broken record for a reason. I'm trying to set the record straight on this shit. When was Joe Biden's approval rating the highest? When he cut $1,400 checks to the American people. Turns out when you give people some material well-being, they go, I like this. I can pay the bills. And then when you don't do anything, the numbers go down and down and down and down and down. And of course, the people in D.C. are so stupid, they genuinely think, hey, the problem with Biden is he went too far left. He was too ambitious. He helped people too much, or proposed helping people too much. The real thing is he should have been more right-wing. He should have been more corporate. This is what people think. And I'm sure Biden's hearing this 24/7 from his staffers and from, the overpaid idiot lobbyists and the consultant class. I'm sure he's hearing that 24/7. And these are the theories that you get floated, in mainstream media. Well, maybe he was likable, and now he's not as likable. Oh, what? He ate a lot of ice cream, and people like that, but he hasn't been seen eating ice cream for a while. This guy gets paid to do politics, bro. He gets paid to do politics. There is no justice in this world. None. None whatsoever. Maybe when the economy is struggling, people are struggling, you propose some decent policies, failed miserably at passing them, and there's no accountability for that, maybe that's the problem. But I'm just here spitballing. What do I know? If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.